Alright, I'm back with another Destiny 2 video, and I am making this because at least one person asked me about this. I posted yesterday about how I ran Operation Seraph's Shield on Legends solo this week. Highly recommend doing solo over doing it with a fire team. Certainly not a full fire team because enemy health scaling gets off the charts and is just kind of exhausting. Whether it's chonky red bars or Briggs with 80 million health, just the way scaling works with these set plus difficulty modifiers plus 10 makes it so that doing it solo feels better than doing it with a fire team. Plus, you are not worried about things like your teammates dying and you not being able to revive them because of no tokens, causing you to wipe the encounter, and that happened to me a good amount last week. So I was asked what my Warlock build was, because I am technically a Warlock main. And just for starters, I want to say that this is not a video for like ultra pro players. I know a lot of people are going to just chime and be like, it's so easy on Legend, like why are you even bothering with the build? Like, guys, everybody is at different levels of experience, different levels of time they have to play, different levels of skill. So some people are having difficulty doing this on Legend solo. Whether it's usually one of the two boss encounters, the one with all the Briggs or the one at the very end. I've had some people get stuck at the last one, and this is not a mission that has any checkpoints, so once you're in there, you kind of got to finish it, or else you're just hosed. So I wanted to go through my Warlock build, which is a build I use for pretty much everything. Like, this is pretty much what I'm using for heists as well, just because I really have not taken this build off since Arc 3.0 got here in some form or another. You can change out a few pieces of it or whatever. I am in my Iron Banner setup here, minus my helmet. I don't use that in Iron Banner. I am not going to change my fashion just for this video. You can see my wacky Iron Banner ornaments that I'm using just to get all the rep bonuses. Okay. So I'm using Arc 3.0 because the name of the game here for solo stuff, especially this mission where there's just lots and lots of mobs, is add clear. Add clear, add clear, add clear. That is by far the most important thing, because when you're doing something solo, all eyes are on you. There are no additional, teammates to draw the fire of the mobs. So while you might be like, okay, what's the best optimal boss DPS strat? Like, it's going to take a while to kill the bosses or the biggest enemies. Like, it just is. If you spec entirely just for boss damage, that is not going to help you survive the encounter as a whole. So I have Arc 3.0 because the amount of lightning chaining you can do to just automatically kind of wipe mobs, protect you at all times is huge. And there are a few things that kind of go into this. We'll just do the basics here. This is all pretty standard. I have Arc Bolt Grenade. You can use whatever you want, but it's different than a Storm Grenade because you can throw this like directly at your feet and it's not going to like accidentally nuke you. It's just going to chain lightning to a bunch of, invisible marauders that are trying to kill you or whatever, and it works pretty well. Here we have Electrostatic Mind. We're defeating targets with arc abilities. We're defeating jolted or blinded targets, creates an Ionic Trace. This whole thing is based around Ionic Trace because of this helmet you can see in the background here. It's just about flooding yourself with Ionic Traces and giving your abilities up all the time, essentially. We also have Arc Soul. Cast your Rift to create an Arc Soul that flies at targets in front of you. And your allies get this, but you're solo, so it doesn't matter. And then when you're amplified, Arc Souls are supercharged and have an increased fire rate. I don't know if people are aware of this, but like they crazily buffed Arc Soul for PvE this season. I don't know. I think it's like triple the damage. It's either double or triple the damage it used to be in PvE. This is just like your permanent protector. It will just automatically be killing mobs in front of you. I don't remember if on Legend exactly it can one-shot like a red bar drag just with one shot, but it might be able to, but like every little bit counts. And it even adds for, DPS on higher tier enemies as well. It can shatter Knight Arc Shields by itself when you're not even paying attention. Arc Buddy is really, really, really good now. And you're always amplified, so it's always going to be doing its increased fire rate. Okay, fragments. Okay, so these are mostly Ionic Trace focused. Arc Blows create an Ionic Trace, so my main Trinity Ghoul is always creating Ionic Traces. Arc grenades jolt targets. So Trinity Ghoul does not create jolt, but you're creating jolt through other means, namely your grenade. Melee hits increase your reload speed. I just like this because actually on this build it's not like that important because I'm realizing now I'm using Trinity Ghoul, so maybe I don't need this one. when I have something else on besides a bow, this is useful. So I don't know. You can change this to something else. Defeating a jolted target creates an ionic trace, so just another way to create ionic traces. And the reason we're doing this is because of this helmet. This is Fallen Sunstar from... what season was this? I don't remember. But season or two... was it the last season? I can't remember. This is Plunder logo, right? I think it is. Anyway, this thing is ridiculous. I have not really taken this off since I got it. Ionic traces just move like at the speed of light toward you. They give you even more ability energy. I don't know if it's double, but it's a lot. And so you're just constantly feeding yourself ability energy, so you can put down constant rifts for healing and Arc Buddy pretty much up at all times. Grenades and your melee being up at all times as well. This gives you, ally ability energy, but that's not really factoring in here. Otherwise, armor stuff, 100 resilience if you can manage it, high recovery. I'm not Mr. Optimal Stats person, but as high resilience as you can is obviously the play for solo stuff where you're trying to survive. Besides that, I just pretty much have a really basic elemental well build going. So elemental armaments, so the Trinity Ghoul will create wells. Font of Might, so picking up a well will buff Trinity Ghoul. Melee and grenades, well maker, more wells, that's it. So wells are also decreasing your ability cooldown time in addition to constantly buffing Trinity Ghoul damage. So that's pretty basic. The only really other thing to note here, okay, so for this depends on the encounter. I would say for the second boss encounter, for the first boss encounter with the 3 Brigs, you probably want arc resistance because it's a lot of dregs kind of shooting you from all directions, and I'm pretty sure Marauders have electric or arc melees, so you probably want that there. For the second encounter, you want, I would say, I'm going to say solar, because you're constantly getting slammed on by the freaking, what are those dudes called? I don't know, the Scorn guys with the fire things that slam things on you. And remember, you can just change your energy type on your gear now for 10,000 Glimmer on legendary pieces of armor and an upgrade module. So it's not a big deal if you want to just change it to something else. Besides that, so fun fact, I actually, when I was going to make this, I did not actually have this on for my solo run, but you should have it on. I had Weaken Clear on, and I was using a grenade. I was using my Pardon Our Dust that I'm still leveling up because I forgot Solo Operative existed, and I was just using it for boss debuffs. But if you are doing this Solo Operative is going to give you a permanent bonus to damage at all times to all enemies, not just bosses, not just yellow bars, but all enemies. I think it's like 15% damage increase, I think, at all times. So this is definitely the one you're going to want to use here. Besides that, I have Trinity Ghoul. Trinity Ghoul remains one of the best ad clearing options in the game by far. You will just be wiping out entire factions of enemies with one shot, even on Legend, even at plus 10 power. If you're solo and not on a fire team, this will be able to wipe out a good cluster of red bars pretty much on its own. It's not quite as good against orange bar stuff, but that's what Riptide is for. Mine is Choke Up Blood from Gold. You can use kind of whatever secondary you want here, but this has always been pretty good to me. But Trinity Ghoul, it's good for, taking out pockets far away, but like even you can just literally, once you have the lightning rod active, you can shoot it at your feet and just nuke everything around you. Like it's almost like its own, arc grenade, because it's just the AoE effect of it is crazy. And like, no, you're not jolting targets. This is a different effect than jolt. It's just chain lightning like Risk Runner, because it was made before Arc 3.0. But it is easily, one of the best weapons in the game. Certainly something that I would recommend for solo play. I think it's better than things like Incandescent or what's the Void one? like the only thing that maybe competes with it is like a Gyrfalcon volatile rounds build on Hunter, but there is no direct void equivalent to it, and this is just chain after chain after chain. And I'm also using this in a lot of my heist runs because you can also put anti-barrier on this season because of anti-barrier bow. For your heavy, linear fusion rifles are still kind of the name of the game. I was just using Fire and Forget because I just crafted it. I was just trying to get it some XP. This is not my best linear fusion rifle. I like Storm Chaser better than Fire and Forget because Fire and Forget's stability is freaking awful for some reason. Like, so awful, I think it's bugged. Storm Chaser's a lot better. Obviously, you can have Cataclysm or Taipan or Reed's Regret or whatever, like, but for boss damage, I would generally pick this. That said, the two different boss encounters, it's different. I would do this for the last boss encounter, but you may want to consider something like Terminus Horizon, or I don't know, just any really solid machine gun, because machine guns really help against the Briggs. They are good at doing pretty heavy body shot damage and getting those Briggs down. One warning about the Briggs, just make sure once you get them down to low health and their little thing pops off, they are going to go into the air and start shooting AoE nukes at you. So be sure you kind of like save a super or something to nuke them before they can nuke you. I think I just used linear fusions for that. I don't think I switched because once you do pop that plate off and you can hit the crit spot, then something like linear fusion is going to be better. It's pretty much the tactics in these encounters. I wish this friggin' mission had checkpoints, because otherwise I'm gonna have to start it all over to show you. But it's not exactly rocket science. I would heavily focus on ad clear. That is mostly going to be a combination of your grenade, your melee, your arc buddy, and Trinity Ghoul, just clearing every enemy you can see until you are no longer getting mobbed. None of these encounters have truly infinitely spawning enemies, and once you clear enough of them, there will be plenty of downtime to start doing actual boss DPS. The bosses really are not that much of a threat. The Briggs are only an actual threat once they go up into the air and start shooting nukes. The Praxis final boss is not really a threat unless he has frozen you with a grenade, and that causes you to get mobbed by a bunch of other people. His actual damage, he's very slow moving. He has his little, I think it's a solar cannon or something, but like he's not doing very much damage to you. You will die in that segment because you are getting overrun by mobs. That is how you will die 90% of the time. So focus on clearing those mobs. Even the Scorned Chieftains are probably more of a threat than he is himself, because they have invisibility shields. If you get too close to them, they can kind of shred you. So focus on all of that stuff before them. And then if you really want to start doing DPS, I would probably do it from one of the catwalks up in those areas. So this was my Warlock build. I am doing this. You only have to do this once a week on Legends. You'll have to do it 4 times in total, I believe, for all of the catalysts. No, I don't have that on me. Revision 0, and then you'll be done. But would absolutely recommend doing it solo because it is just much easier in terms of enemy health. If you want, I can do solo builds on the other 2 classes. Let me know if you would like that in the comments. Again, I know this type of video is not for everybody, but different people have different challenges in the game, so let's be nice. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'm gonna go grind some Iron Banner in the hopes of getting. I don't even care about the Warlock armor, but I have the most Warlock pieces of anything so far. The Warlock armor is not nearly as good as the Titan or Hunter armor from this set, but whatever. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.